Hi, back from Rochester already?
Blackie never went.
How come?
It was probably Amy that you heard in the middle of the night. It wasn't Blackie.
Why?
Because he didn't make it.
Oh, I told Rose I wasn't sure. You were out all night?
Yeah, beat it, buddy.
Wait, didn't you get sleepy?
Mike, I got an idea. Why don't you go do something else? Because Blackie and I have to talk about something, okay?
What do you do now?
Mike, please.
Okay, I'm going.
Thank you.
Why do I always have to miss the good stuff?
You're not going to give me that speech about the birds and the bees, are you?
Apparently, you're handing out some speeches about the birds and the bees.
Do you think I'm a little old for this, Doc?
Apparently not.
All right, fine. If you want to hear the speech, go ahead, fire away.
I'd like to hear how you feel about it.
About what?
About maturing, growing up, responsibilities.
I can take care of myself.
It's not good enough, Blackie, when you have another human being involved.
You guys are sounding like I took advantage of this poor girl or something.
You did.
I did
in a way.
not, man. I didn't force her to do anything she didn't want to do.
I know that.
She's been throwing herself on me for weeks, man. What was I supposed to do?
Think.
I did think.
Well, apparently you didn't think enough. I don't care how much love you might have for each other or how much sexual attraction. You can't forget the fact that she happens to be 17 years of age, and you can be accused of rape.
Oh, well, that's crazy.
It is not crazy. It happens to be the law, and you can go to prison for that.
But I didn't do nothing, all right?
Look, I don't want any excuses, okay? What you did was wrong. It was wrong to have her there and have her spend the night. It was inexcusable that you didn't call Rose. Rose was worried sick, and Leslie and I would have felt the very same way had she been here in this house and we not known where she was.
Well, I didn't mean to make Rose worry about it.
Yeah, well, you made that happen, and what you've done is wrong. Dead wrong.
What we did was wrong.
That's right.
All of it? You tell me making love is wrong?
I'm saying the specifics of your lovemaking in this particular instance were wrong.
Well, I don't think so.
You think what you did was right?
Well, come on, man. You guys make it sound like I was beating the girl up or something.
There are other ways of hurting somebody unintentionally. And the only two people in the long run who are going to know if what happened last night was for the good are you and Lou. Now, it's happened. It's over. But, Blackie, you better think about it, and you better think about it very carefully.
Don't worry, I will.
Hey, I don't mean go lightly on it. It's not a light subject. What happened, Blackie, what happened was very important.
What is the big deal here, man? People spend the night together all the time.
People do a lot of things they spend the rest of their lives regretting. I don't care about other people. I happen to care about you, and I care about Lou very much.
I can handle it, all right?
Can Lou handle it? And if you don't think that that is your problem, too, you are mistaken.
I didn't say that.
You better think about it. And I mean it, Blackie. Think about it with some depth, with some understanding. What is love? What is sex, and what's the difference? And most important, how does Lou feel about it?
Well, I have thought about it.
I hope you've been honest with yourself. Is it love on your part? Is it love for her? And if it isn't, is she going to be able to accept and adjust to that difference as easily as you may think she can?
So things get real complicated.
Blackie, it's always been very complicated. It's just that you are now finally starting to realize that. There is a fact, and that fact is she happens to be 17 years of age. And anytime the two of you are going to be together in the future, that's going to be a risk. And I'm not talking just about legal terms either.
You're talking about getting her pregnant?
That's one part of it. That's an important part, yes. No, I'm really talking about feelings, emotionally, how she's reacting and what it means to her.
What do you mean? She likes me.
I would say that Lou probably loves you. All right, so it's a puppy love, it's immature, it's incomplete, but she's very serious about it. And unless you happen to be as serious as she is, you're going to have a problem, you're going to have a big one.
Aren't you making a bigger deal out of this whole thing than it is?
I hope I'm making a very big deal out of it for the two of you. But just let's say that I am making too much of it, okay? Let me ask you a question. Do you love Lou? Or are you taking advantage of Lou's feelings for you?
Are you saying we can't go out anymore?
Would that do any good if I said that? No, that would be the easy way anyway, wouldn't it? It would take responsibility away from you. And you've earned that responsibility. What I'm saying is, fine, what happened, happened. But you better understand what it was, what its values were, what it means. And you have to be willing to take the consequences if you're responsible. If you were man enough for that to happen, then I think you're also man enough to make the decisions in your life.
Never been so embarrassed in my whole life.
That's the least of your problems.
I cannot believe that you did that to Blackie. I thought you liked him.
I do.
Well, then why did you have to call the police? You almost put him in jail.
I told you I didn't know where you were. If I had known you were with Blackie, I never would have notified the police.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
What you did was wrong. It doesn't excuse your behavior.
Not if two people love each other.
That's not true.
How come you didn't get upset the first time Blackie and I did it?
I didn't know about it until it was all over. There was no point in my coming down on you then.
You said that making love was one of the most beautiful things that two people could do.
Yes, it can be.
Well, then why doesn't it apply to Blackie and me? Why can't I lead my own life?
Lou, you're 17 years
But
old.
that doesn't mean anything. Not anymore.
Listen, you are more mature than most kids your age. In many ways.
In every way. I am not a kid.
You are in the eyes of the law.
Well, then the law is wrong, not me.
Look, I'm not condemning you for making love. I know how you feel about Blackie.
Then why did you get so bent out of shape about it?
Mostly because I was so worried about you. I didn't know what had happened. If only I had known you were going to be out all night.
Wait a second. If I had told you that Blackie and I were going to stay out all night, would you have let me stay with him? Yeah, no, I didn't think so.
Probably not.
Probably not, definitely not. That's why I didn't tell you.
Lou, that's not the point.
You tell us you think we can handle it, and then you say you wouldn't have let us even if we had asked for permission. I can't win.
Lou, listen to me. I know it sounds like a catch-22 problem.
Sounds like.
I can't lie to you. I can't deny the way I feel.
Well, neither can I, Rose.
Amelia's right. Pachenko is not your only hope.
What else, then?
Your record as a doctor.
Oh, that's worth a hell of a lot.
Your obvious affinity for the profession.
Look, Jake, let's face facts. You're as aware as I am. The board is not concerned with my aptitude. They're concerned with my credentials.
That's true. If the board was concerned with his ability, there wouldn't even be a hearing.
Absolutely, but that doesn't mean we can't appeal to the board's humanity. Let's not forget they're doctors, too.
All right, how do we do that?
I want to stress the intangibles. Our hope is that the board will overlook the training that we can't document and focus on the practice itself. We're only asking for a reasonable doubt.
Is that all?
Well, basically, your record speaks for itself, Grant. All we have to do is try to get them to listen. Oh, and don't mention Pachenko, whatever you do.
You didn't have to tell me that.
I mean, if the board even suspects that you flunked out, it's over, whether it's true or not.
Yeah. All right. Well, this game plan of yours sounds fine. How are you going to approach these men?
I am going to do everything I possibly can to make them face one fact, that you are one superb doctor. A man who has dedicated his life to medicine. One who will even do volunteer work just to be able to continue healing people.
Do you think that'll work?
The medical profession cannot afford to lose a doctor like you, Grant. I can't believe the board would let that happen.
I can't either.
Jack, look, is there something that I can do here?
I was wondering the same thing.
Like what?
Well, I'm not sure. Maybe contact the WSB, get them to issue a statement in Grant's defense.
That's very generous of you to offer. Do you think that would help any?
No, I don't think so. Not unless the WSB could prove that I completed my pre-med courses.
But surely the support alone of such a prestigious organization would be of some help.
No, unfortunately, it's not. The board is going to deal exclusively with facts, Holly. All they're concerned with in that hearing is documented evidence.
But look, what if Jake is right here? What if the human element does figure in the decision?
Well, then we have a chance, a reasonable one.
Well, the board must have realized you can't practice medicine for this long and this well without having the appropriate pre-med training, even if you can't prove it.
That would seem obvious, wouldn't it?
I mean, you don't learn to be an orthopedist by ESP.
Here, here.
Jake, look, couldn't I at least be a character witness for Grant?
Well, we'll see what happens. I think that might work out.
That I'd like to hear. But then it wouldn't be the first time our illustrious police commissioner has used his considerable influence to help this spy now, would it? And if it wasn't for Scorpio, Andre Chernin wouldn't have been allowed to remain in this country, much less practice medicine. Isn't that true, Mr. Chernin? Oh, and while we're on the subject, how is it that you can continually keep using Grant Putnam's name? Glad to see all of you, too.
This is a respectable place. What are you doing here?
Haven't you read the papers? Lebanon is not a very healthy place to be right now.
Never bothered you before.
I guess I'm mellowing in my old age. Besides, I'd already finished my story, so here I am, and I'm back on the paper. I'm sure you'll all be overjoyed to know.
How fortunate for Port Charles.
You know, I almost wish I hadn't been stationed so far across the world.
Apparently not far enough.
I mean, as hot as it was in Beirut, sleepy little Port Chuck was just blazing. I mean, who would have ever guessed that our own Dr. Grant Putnam was leading a double life? Doctor by day, DBX spy by night.
Get off it, Jackie.
Don't give her that benefit.
Come on, I'm just getting hot. You know what really galls me?
Not being able to personally distort the story yourself?
Oh, low blow. Not quite exactly how I would have put it, but that is the general idea. Because I was on to you long before anyone else in this town.
Congratulations.
If I would have stayed around, I would have had that story blown wide open way before anyone else.
And probably we would have lost additional lives, not to mention the disc itself, which would never have been recovered.
You give me far too much credit.
The power of the press.
Well, that's all under the bridge. The important thing is that I'm back.
Picking up where you left off.
Without a doubt. Your story's far from over.
Are you finished?
Let's hope so.
You know, I just find it so fascinating how buddy-buddy the police commissioner can be with a spy. I mean, you don't hear that every day. That's very newsworthy.
Leave these people alone.
Not on your life, counselor.
Well, I've lost my appetite.
I know the feeling.
So tell me, Chernin, have you heard from the DVX these days? And if you really did blow the whistle on them, they're not going to let you go without returning the favor. Has your good friend here, the commissioner, offered you any protection? Not that it would do you any good. Or is he taken upon himself to do the job? Sort of a personal favor.
Why don't we all go somewhere else?
The sooner the better. Can't something be done about her?
I'd dearly like to see you try.
Martha, put all these things on my account, will you?
Mine too?
Thing.
So nice of you. Commissioner takes a spy out to dinner. The taxpayers pick up the check. I wonder what they would think if they knew that.
I'm going to tell you this just once.
When you say that.
Get off it, Jackie. The guy is trying to start a new life.
Aren't we all?
He's suffered long enough. I'm not going to have you badgering him.
Is that a warning, Commissioner?
It's my personal guarantee. Go and practice your yellow journalism somewhere else. This story's finished.
Not by a long shot. A long shot.
Oh. How's the would-be Mr. Putnam doing?
Oh, he's calmed down.
Good. Where is he now?
Sister Corley took him to get something to eat.
What do you make of all this, Borton?
It's pretty amazing, really. I mean, the man goes from a blank slate to a thinking, talking human being, literally overnight. And one with quite a vivid memory, I might add.
That or an active imagination.
Well, whatever it is, it unblocked suddenly.
Yes, in the time it takes to read an article in the paper.
You really think that 402 adopted this Putnam character from the news?
Well, don't you?
I don't know what to think, frankly.
Well, I suppose it could be worse. He could have read about Napoleon. If he had, by today, I suppose we'd all be addressing him as Emperor Bonaparte, or Galileo, or Sir Isaac Newton, or... What was the one that was so popular last year? Oh, yes, Peter the Great. What did we have, 3 or 4 of him? The whole place was swarming with Russian czars.
Now, there's something different about 402. He was awfully convincing.
That's because he himself is convinced. I'm quite sure the poor chap truly believes that he is Dr. Grant Putnam, and I'd be very surprised if he turns out to be the person he thinks he is.
Well, I suppose you're right.
But you have doubts?
Well, only because of the way he talked. He sounded like one remembering, not fabricating incidents.
Well, 402 is remembering, but not what he lived, what he read in the paper. It's quite a detailed account of this Dr. Putnam, you know. More than interesting enough to attract the attention of an impressionable individual, especially one so desperate to establish his own identity.
Dr. Tremaine.
What's this?
I'm sorry, sir, but he insisted. I tried to
Quite
stop
all
him.
right, quite all right, Sister Paulie. Let him go now. Now, sir, what may I do for you?
You've got to tell me something. How did I get here?
Why do you ask?
Tell me.
Well, you were picked up by a fisherman after a fall from the Cornwall cliffs. Apparently, you'd been in the water for some time.
Help me!
You were clinging to a log.
Help me! Help me! Help me! Help me! Help me!
Let me guess, what'd you do? You robbed the gas station?
They booked me with statutory rape.
And
Matt, you've come too far. You fought too hard.
And lost.
You've got to pick up the pieces and start where you left off.
one Grant Putnam has everything to lose,
How would you like me to do that? My life is over. I have nothing left.
while another Grant Putnam
I have a name. I would appreciate you using it from now on.
may never get it back.
The name is Putnam. Grant Putnam.
General Hospital.
Wednesday afternoon, watch Sometimes I Don't Love My Mother, an ABC after-school special. Wednesday night, Colt tangles with a crooked sheriff involved in a big-time land fraud on the Fall Guy. Then it's a honeymoon in Rio for Blake and Crystal and a romantic surrender for Alexis on Dynasty. After a spirited teenager conspires to reunite her divorced parents on Hotel. Rhoda Barrett is back with a week of specials. Don't miss People to People, beginning next Monday at 11, 10 Central and Mountain.